Gonna just be talking through my ideas, my draft strategies, try to help everyone out a little bit because this is probably maybe the most important part of fantasy football. Also probably the most fun. Draft season, by far the best, no doubt about it. Now, pretty much all of my drafts are going to be 10-team leagues. That's what I play in. I also see that a lot of people do 12-team mock drafts, and when I've been looking for own 10-team mock draft content, it's always been a little bit of struggle, so I think that's a little bit of a hole in the industry that I can fill here, or at least try to. I'm also going to be doing these first ones on Fantasy Pros. The sleeper ADP is always a little bit weird in my opinion, and trying to join a random underdog draft and do that for a video is going to be really difficult when I don't have people that can come and join whenever I want to. So for the time being, Fantasy Pros is where it's at. A couple other things I want to know is that I'm going to be doing 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. I think the 2 flex is really important when you're playing in a league that's under 12 people, and it's how I've found to have the most fun playing fantasy. With all that said, let's get into it. So first, let's randomize what my draft position is going to be. All right, third pick, here we come. Also, to talk a little bit about my own draft strategy before we get started, definitely somebody who focuses on getting my running backs early. The drop off is normally a lot more extreme with running backs compared to wide receivers as it gets farther into the draft. And if you're able to get 2 elite running backs, you're almost guaranteed to make the playoffs. And that's really what we're going for, because once you get to the playoffs, it's really a lot of luck. So the idea, in my opinion, is always be to just make the playoffs. I will say this year has been a little bit different. There's a lot of running backs down around the late teens, early 20s that I really like. So I think as this offseason goes on, I'm going to be more and more inclined to take wide receivers early because I feel more comfortable with certain running backs. But mostly we'll definitely be taking running backs early. There's also almost no scenario where I take a quarterback early. I'm a big late quarterback person, specifically in one quarterback league. Obviously in Superflex it's totally different. This is just for one quarterback, but definitely a late quarterback person. If I am going to take something early, then it's going to be a tight end, but that's only if it has good value. I'm not just going to take a tight end early to take a tight end early. All right, sweet. Now let's get into it. All right, so right away, when I get into these mock drafts, I like to go into the cheat sheet and hide drafted players. Looking at draft board though, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, there's no way that Najee goes this high in real drafts, but 2 running backs is very likely. If you saw my last video, you know Christian McCaffrey's my 102. I think his upside is way higher than anyone else besides Jonathan Taylor's. So getting him right here, this is who I'm going to go with. Pretty easy for me in my opinion. All right. Off the board, we got a lot of running backs. JJ first, wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. Pretty standard drafts, nothing too out of the ordinary. Running backs, wide receivers all through the first round. Travis Kelce mid-second round. So this is probably still too early for me to be taking Mark Andrews. It's really between, for me, CeeDee Lamb and Aaron Jones. If you watch my previous videos, you know I originally wasn't as high on Aaron Jones, but as Devontae Adams left, he's become a lot more intriguing to me. I also think CeeDee Lamb has pretty good wide receiver 5 upside, or top 5 wide receiver upside. So it's really just how I want to go with my teams. And like I said, I kind of value the running back more. And Aaron Jones is somebody who's going to have really high games. I think will be safe given all his receiving work. So to pair him with somebody kind of more risky like Christian McCaffrey, I think I'll go with him for right now. Definitely not taking Nick Chubb with all the Deshaun stuff going on. Mike Evans is interesting, but I would probably still go with CeeDee Lamb over him. But for now, let's go with Aaron Jones. See, and that's why I'm so happy with Aaron Jones. Now, I don't see Tyreek Hill as high as CeeDee Lamb or Mike Evans, but I think he's still in the same tier as them. So that's awesome that he's still here for us to take in the 3rd round. Looking at the draft board, you see Kyle Pitts was taken, Mike Evans, CD, Nick Chubb, pretty standard. So Mark Andrews is here at the beginning of the 3rd round, which I honestly don't think would happen. In most cases, I think I would go with Tyreek Hill here, but if Mark Andrews falls to me in the 3rd round, I got to take him. He was a tight end 1 last year, and they lost Marquise Brown, so air was only going up for him, and I think that they're going to have some positive touchdown regression for the Ravens. So yeah, give me Mark Andrews. Huge positional advantage here in the 3rd round. I'll take him. We can figure out wide receivers later. We see our first quarterback going off the board at the end of the 3rd round. That's probably right around where I would take him if I were going to take one. But like I said, I'm not really taking anyone there, or a quarterback there, should I say. We're not taking a tight end. We're not taking quarterback. That brings us to running backs, wide receivers. Probably won't take a running back because I've already taken 2 good running backs. So because I already have 2 good running backs, I'm definitely going to focus on wide receivers here. I think it's between DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin. They're in really similar situations. They both are on pretty bad offenses, but they're great talents. Wide receiver 1s for their team. I think that The offense for Washington's a little bit better. I think trying to say who's better between DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin is really tough. It doesn't really matter. That's not the point. They're in the same tier for us. But yeah, like I was saying, the offense I think for Washington is going to be a little bit better. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a little bit better than, he'll be better than Sam Darnold. If something changes, then we could reevaluate. But for right now, I'm going to take Terry McLaurin over DJ Moore. But it's really close. You could really go with whoever you like. Running backs and wide receivers being taken, we're probably going to be in the same boat since we already have a tight end and we're not really looking for a quarterback at this time, not at all. So if I wasn't taking a running back here, it would definitely be Breece Hall. But because I already have 2 running backs and I think that the wide receivers are going to fall off a little bit right around Jerry Jeudy, I'm going to take one of these guys. It would probably be between DK Metcalf and Mike Williams. I think Terry is a relatively safer person, so I'm going to take Mike Williams because I think he's going to have some huge explosion games, get that upside in there. So I'm going to take Mike Williams for right now. Let's see how this goes. Him ranked at 21, I think is a little bit low. I would take him higher than that. So yeah, we're going to take him here. Huge upside. I mean, the first half of the year last year, he was like one of the top 5 wide receivers, and he's with Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen's a year older. There's a lot of upside hit with him here, so I'll take him. Something else to note about Fantasy Pros in particular, you're going to get a grade at the end of this, and really take that with a grain of salt. I mean, these grades are pretty bullshit, so know who you're taking, know what you like, and if you like it, that's what matters, not these stupid grades at the end of it. Okay, so we definitely need another running back, either here or the next pick, because I think that there's a little tier break after these 3 guys right here. So I really want one of these 3 guys. I'm going to go look at the draft board. So there'll be 4 picks in between me, and each of those guys each have 2 running backs. So there's a very likely chance that they will all be taken, I think, before my next pick. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to take one of them so I don't have to worry about that 3rd running back. Ooh, Josh Jacobs, AJ Dillon, Miles Sanders. These people are, this is another thing about the tiers. I view these people all so similarly. It's really hard to decide between them. And it's not like, so I'm not going to take AJ Dillon. It's not like AJ Dillon is really like a handcuff. He's still going to be super valuable by himself. But, I don't really want to play both of the running backs week over week and have to try to figure that out. So I'm going to stay away from A.J. Dillon. So that's between Miles Sanders and Josh Jacobs. I think the Vegas offense is going to be much more improved. And he has Derek Carr, whereas Miles Sanders has Jalen Hurts. So he could be taking away rushes. So all this, I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs. And would you look at that? They're all still there. Yo, do we have any idea what's going on with Chris Godwin? Like, when is he going to be back? I've heard such mixed reports about him being back, like before it starts, after it starts. Like, I have no idea. See, these running backs down here, see very little value to. Melvin Gordon, actually, I kind of like. But even though I just said all that shit about A.J. Dillon, I'm going to take him here because he's my 4th running back. So Aaron Jones does get hurt. A.J. Dillon's an easy RB1. And there could definitely be times where you play both of them because they're going to be getting so much work. So we'll take him right here. All right, so we're pretty much focusing specifically on wide receivers now. Quarterbacks, we can start kind of thinking about since it's round 8. This is only where I start to think about them, but we see this massive quarterback run right here. And because of that, I'm definitely not going to take it because it's a lot of what people do when they panic. They see these quarterbacks go off this run and they think they're not going to get anyone. But I mean, at this point, like, who cares? Like Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Stafford, Aaron, like, I'll take any of those guys. Whoever is left. Sounds good. See, by my roster, we only got 2 wide receivers, so we need some work there. So because of that, I'm taking Gabriel Davis. I think he's very similar to Mike Williams, honestly. Super high upside. Wide receiver 2 for a great offense with one of the best quarterbacks. So yeah, Gabriel Davis, I'm taking him. So still going to stay away from quarterbacks. We see Tom Brady was taken right here. So pretty much everybody besides one other person as a quarterback, and there's plenty of more than 2 quarterbacks that I would take. So don't need them here. Don't need another tight end because I have Mark Andrews. So yeah, this is nice. Just get a focus on my running backs and wide receivers and kind of try to stack those positions. So looking at these wide receivers, Adam Thielen, I've been out on him the last 2 years, but he's proved me wrong every year. And so am I out on him again this year? I don't know. I want to be, but also taking him as a wide receiver 35, 34, you're already basically out on him. And so if he does hit, then it's just, a massive upside for us. Devontae Smith, he's going to be, there's no way he's going to be the wide receiver 1 with AJ Brown there. Hunter Renfrow, same thing. So all these people come with their own things. I'm probably going to go for upside here. Actually, I probably won't go for upside here. I think I'm going to go between Thielen or Renfrow, but because I already have Josh Jacobs. I'll take Adam Thielen, kind of spread it around. If he does anywhere near what he did last year, then that would be a huge bonus as my wide receiver 4. I'll get Cordell Patterson out of here. All right, this is where I will start considering quarterbacks more and more, that round 10, really. Everyone does have one, so who really knows? There definitely will be people that start taking a second. So I'll definitely start looking at quarterbacks here. There's nobody I can really stack anyone with, so that's not really important. But at the same time, I don't have a preference between Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, so I'll take any of them. Christian Kirk, I've actually become more and more interested in. He's one of the last wide receiver 1s that you can get on your team. While he is wide receiver 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's still a wide receiver 1. Not like a wide receiver 1 fantasy, like he's a wide receiver 1 for the team, which means he's going to get a lot of targets. They paid him a lot of money. He's going to get opportunity. So it's really, do I want to go with that, or do I want the upside of Kadarius Toney? I mean, just like those 2 games he balled out last year makes me so interested in him, because I don't care who you are. It's just not normal to do what he did. Like, he's special, I think. But he's on the Giants, so that's tough. Because of that, I'm going to go with Kirk, get that wide receiver 1, get that volume. My wide receiver core is tough right now, so we're just trying to get anything I can. And would you look at that? He's still there. All 3 quarterbacks still there. Let's just keep stacking these wide receivers. I want to get them while I can. So now here, I would almost for sure take a quarterback. But because the 3 guys that I'm interested in are still here, I think I'm going to take another wide receiver. I really like Russell Gage this year, honestly, because like I was saying a second ago, like Chris Godwin, I don't know when he's going to come back. And Russell Gage is going to be their wide receiver 2 when they're not back. And we've seen what Tom Brady can do with his wide receiver 2, especially in Tampa. So beginning the season, I think he'd be really helpful for us. So Russell Gage right here, that's what we're going with. Now I'm feeling good about my wide receiver core. It's just solid right here. We'll take Aaron Rodgers, one of the 3 dudes I've been talking about since the beginning. He doesn't have Devontae, but whatever. We'll take him. This will be our last pick in this draft. We're going to try to get another running back to ensure anybody. We're going to get a quarterback. I think quarterbacks are something that you can kind of pick up the waiver wire if your original guy doesn't work out. I got Christian McCaffrey, who is known for his injuries. Obviously, is a huge risk. So I'm going to take Chuba just to get that insurance handcuff. So if he does get hurt, I got somebody who I can put in. And there's our team. I mean, A- on here. Like I said, I don't really care about that. It's always good to see the green, but I don't really care about the score. I just want to look at this team. I think this team is super balanced. I got solid running backs, the top 2. I have one of the best tight ends. And then I just started taking shots with my wide receivers. So I'm sure that some of them are going to figure it out. And then the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, back-to-back MVP. I don't need him to be that, though. Like, I just need him to be solid. I need him to not blow it week over week. And he probably won't. Even if he doesn't have Devontae, he hasn't had Devontae for a lot of his career. He'll be good. And if not, we can figure it out on the waiver wire. I'm not worried about it. I can stream. I've won championship streaming before. We can do it again. That's just like what I said in the beginning. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff for quarterback specifically. But yeah, first mock draft, there it is. It's a little bit weird. It's my first time, talking out while I do the mock draft. I've never done it before, so I felt kind of weird doing that, but it's also really fun and actually talking out my picks. It made me change some of the things that I would normally do. So interesting to see how this progresses over time with this channel, and also how it changes how I actually draft. But yeah, more of this coming soon. I'm also going to be doing my wide receiver ranking videos this week, so stay tuned for that. Catch y'all on those. Peace.